Hello and welcome. You're watching Head to Head. I'm Antonina Antosha with UATV. According to the survey conducted last year, around 85% of drivers in Ukraine do not use seatbelts. Besides violating the road traffic rules, behavior like this endangers people's lives and health. To tackle this problem, the Verkhovna Rada supported the first reading of a draft law on reduction of road fatalities and injuries. The document provides increased penalties for ignoring safety belts. According to the lawmakers, this new legislation is designed not to punish, but to try and change the driver's behavior. To talk more about this, we're joined in the studio today by Petro Korol. He's the lawyer at the Center of Democracy and Rule of Law. Hello, and thank you for joining.
Hi.
So, 85% of the drivers, as I have already mentioned, do not use seatbelts. In case of a car accident, how does this factor increase the percentage of deaths during accidents?
Well, according to the World Health Organization, using seatbelts may decrease the level of deaths approximately to the 50%. We think that, and as far as I know, all drivers, first of all, support this draft law, and they say that yes, it's important law. However, only 15% are using seatbelts, and the draft law that you already mentioned, first of all, it's not to to improve the budget of Ukraine. It's to change the mentality of the drivers, because 50 hryvnias that is now current fine is so small that sometimes even police say it's like there are no any goal to create the protocol to find these people, because they have to use like for 1 hour to write all the details and all the stuff. So they just say it's not effective anymore. So we think that to increase this fine will help us to decrease the level of the deaths on the roads of Ukraine.
How many car accidents were registered last year in Ukraine?
Well, I don't know how many cars exactly, but I know that last year approximately 3,500 people dead in the car accidents, and approximately 35,000 were injured. Mm-hmm. It's lots of people. So
you said that putting a seatbelt on could reduce the death rate during the car accidents by 50%. Now, is this so? So we could probably have like less than 1,500 people killed, and then less than 20,000 people injured if
yes.
drivers would be wearing seatbelts. What about passengers?
Well, passengers, it's also according to our current legislation, they are obliged to use seatbelts.
Is there a fine for a passenger who's not wearing a seatbelt?
Well,
or does the draft law presuppose fining only drivers?
Well, actually, it's kind of not loophole, but misunderstanding on our current legislation. One law says that only the driver could be fined. Other law says that the passengers also could be fined, but we think it depends on the policeman. If he, like, I don't know, decided to punish all passengers and the driver, or he could decide to punish driver for himself not using seatbelt and for the passengers who are not using. So
it's up to the policeman who actually stops the car with the driver who's violating the road traffic rules.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, how much money are we talking about here? What is the sum of the fine?
Currently it's 51 hryvnia, and the
but according to the draft law?
We propose, MPs propose 850 hryvnias.
850 hryvnias. And now, again, is this for a driver, for a passenger, or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. It depends on the policeman. And we are seeing that this fine, it's even not so huge, because in the US, in the European Union,
exactly,
fines,
that was my next question. Comparing to the experience and the amounts of fines of the other European countries, for example, how big are these fines that we're about to have in Ukraine?
For example, in different states of US, it depends on the states, of course, but in general, it's approximately $400, fine for not using. In some European Union countries, it's like 300 euros. So we propose how much, like $20? It's in comparison with other countries, it's not so big.
Staying on the topic of the European countries and the US, the experience they've had was huge fines for not wearing seatbelts. Have they proven to be successful, effective? Did the situation on the roads actually become more safe? Yes.
For example, in Poland, in the Netherlands, when they increased fines for not using seatbelts, the level of deaths and injuries decreased approximately for 30 or 40%.
Are we expecting the same situation to be happening in Ukraine if or once the draft law is made into a real one?
Yes, we hope that it will increase the level of using seatbelts and decrease the deaths and injuries on our roads.
Why now? Why did we become so concerned with the safety on the roads now?
Well, actually, the problem was every year, but you see this last accidents in different cities, and also this year the accident with the buses where many people were not using seatbelts and they were all dead, and the level, this I think it's a huge problem in our country. Road safety, according to the WHO, main risk factors for deaths and injuries on roads, there are 5 factors, and none of these factors faces Ukraine. So it's terrible. Speed limits, driving and drinking, using seatbelts, child safety seats, distracting driving. This we have nothing. The legislation is so poor, and our campaign decided to start for the seatbelts.
Well, thank you so much for what you're doing. You're doing a very important job, and everybody should be wearing seatbelts. This is the matter of life and death, and this is the matter of health. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
That was Petro Korol. He's a lawyer at the Center of Democracy and Rule of Law. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for the rest with UATV.